Hello and welcome to ModSpots, the mod review and tutorial show. I'm BonBonB and you're very welcome. Well, today I've got for you a mod which is built specifically for the map makers amongst us. In fact, it only works in the map editor. It's called Total Terrain Tools. It's by eelcobaas and it's available on the workshop. Link is in the description. Head on over there via the link, click the subscribe button, make sure you hit the like button while you're there to support the modder. And then when you load up your game, go into the content manager, click enable and open up the map editor and you'll now have this little box in the top left hand corner of the screen. Now, what's all this about then? Well, you'll know the limitations of the terrain editor. Even with the maximum brush size, it only goes to about the size of one tile. So if we had an entire map which was completely bumpy like this, you've got yourself a terrain height map and it's super bumpy, you're going to have to go over the entire map backwards and forwards, making sure you don't miss any areas. Try not to go over the same area too many times. All of that. It's very time consuming and very annoying. Wouldn't it be great if we had a mod which would smooth the entire map in one button click? Well, we've got that in the Total Terrain Tools because it does the totality of the terrain in one click, but it doesn't just smooth. Let me show you. Clicking on show will then show the entire box. You can shut the box down as well by clicking hide, show and hide, open and close the box. We do have an undo button as well. We will probably be using that as well today. Now the first option is smooth. Let's come down to this spiky area. There we go. See how spiky it is. We're going to hit the smooth button on here. Now the top we have a strength value between 0 and 1024. 1024 will become more relevant in a moment, but just you know that 1024 is much higher than 0, so that is the maximum strength. Yeah. Good. I'm glad we understand ourselves here. Let's go 1024. There we go. And I'm going to click smooth. Now you're going to expect at 1024 this to be completely flattened, aren't you? Nope. It smooths it a little bit, which is why I set that on the maximum, because if I set it on, say, a 60 or a 10, you wouldn't notice hardly any difference at all. Of course, how you use it is completely up to you, but a few clicks of the smooth button there is bringing this down to something much more manageable than the old spiky map that we had before. Right, so that is the first of our tools, the smooth tool, where the number that you enter is actually the strength of the tool. Next up is the set button. Now the set button is about making the height of the terrain equal across the entire map. Why would you want that? Well, first of all, you probably won't if you've done some work on it, but we'll talk more about that with one of the later options. Let's start off by going to the terrain heights and just finding out what height we are currently working at. I'm just going to drop this down to, here we go. We are currently at height 60. So the entirety of the map is height 60. If we dig a hole in here, we can drop down 60 and that's it. But what if we wanted to dig the Mariana Trench through here? Well, you can't. That's as deep as you can go. So your only option is to raise the height of the entire map all the way around it. And that's a pain in the bum. Yep, I think we all agree on that one. Right, so if we're height 60, what height do we want? About a height 200? I think we can do that. Come out of this tool, come up here, type 200, click set. And everything will now be raised to height 200. Everything's disappeared because everything that we put down was below the height of 200. And if we just click on this button here and just check the height, we are now at height 200, which means if we dig a hole, we can go much deeper. There we are. Does that work for you? Yep, works for me as well. Come back out of here. I'm just going to set everything back to height 60, which is where we started. There we go. Right, so next up we have got the add button. For that we are going to want to have some texturing in again. That button there, bring it up to the maximum and I'll stick it straight into the center tile here. Just going to bring this Oh, like that. So we just got something to work with, and we can see what's going on. Now, add is very similar to set terrain height, except for instead of setting everything to the same height, this is going to add height. So you've been working on the map, and you decide, no, I need some more depth. I need to get some more depth on my map. My oceans are not deep enough. So what we do is we're going to add height to the map. Again, we come to here. If we go down to a low brush size and right click here, we are height 60. And if we come to the highest point up here, I think it's probably this one here. This is about height 385, yeah? We are going to add some height to this map now. Let's say we want to raise it by 100. And click add. Again, you're not going to see any difference because everything has been raised by 100. But just to check that that has happened, we're going to do a right click here. We're now at height 160 at this area. And if we come up to this point again, it's now 485. So that's how to raise the entire map. Guess what? We have subtract. And subtract does exactly the opposite. At 100, we're going to click subtract once. And now we'll come back into the editor and right click here. We're back down to terrain height 60 on the whole map. And the top highest point over here again is going to be back to 385 or thereabouts. Okay, so we now know how to set the entire height, raise the height, lower the height, and to smooth the map. What I'm just going to do here is I'm going to do another texture brush for the next tool, but I'm not going to do it quite so heavy. My bad. I've used the wrong tool there because I'm a fool. Let's come out of here. Sorry, recording as live today. I spent a lot of time on that last tutorial. It was 12 hours for a 7-minute video, and don't have the time to do another one like that just now. So we're going to try this again. Yeah, that's what I wanted to do. So I was using the wrong tool. Bad workman blames his tools, and I'm a bad workman today. Right, so that's a little bit lower and yeah, more gentle. Right, we can work with this one. So the next one is the round button. Now, you're thinking everything's going to be made more round, aren't you? No, you'd be wrong. You'd be very wrong. Okay, what this does, if you're looking to build a map with plateaus so that it's easy to build on, this is going to be your friend. What we can do with round is we can set levels for stepping stones. And I'm going to set for 25. I'm not sure how this is going to work, but we'll have a set at 25. What will happen now is instead of having these nice smooth gradients going up, we will just have steps from one level to the next level in steps of 25. So let's have a little look at that. There we go. So we've still got the same shape going on, but these now have very steep banks coming up between the levels, and these are 25 to there, and then 25 to the next one, 25 to the next one. And of course you can set this to any level. You can just have it set to 5 or 2 or whatever is needed. But yeah, if you're looking to do some sort of plateau map, that might be a tool just to get you started. This is not going to be the finished article. You're going to have to do a lot of work with it, but this is half the work done for you. So yeah, I'm liking that one, particularly a nice little tool there. I'm just going to skip over to here, and we're going to use one of these editing tools again. Let's go back with this one. I'm going to stick it about here. This will do. I'm going to bring this really spiky this time. There we go. So we're back to our really spiky, unbelievably crazy mountain range going on here. What if we wanted to cap the maximum height of these mountains? For whatever reason. I mean, I can't see a use, but the thing is, just because I can't see a use doesn't mean there isn't a use. Let's have a little look at what height we are working with here. So again, I'm just going to drop the brush size down so I can see exactly where I'm landing. Let's say that height there, 366, so that's about 350. 350's in this area here anyway. Right, let's say the maximum height we want our map is, I'll go a little higher, 420. Nothing above 420. So what we're going to do is we're going to enter in height of 420 and click max. There we go. And what it's done is it's taken out anything above the height of 420 has just been leveled down to 420. Everything else remains exactly the same. Now this works is out. I'm not going to do the same for the minimum, but basically if you imagine this inverted into the ground and you wanted to have a minimum height of your ocean, then you can just click the minimum button and have the ocean brought up to a minimum level, which is a pretty nice thing, I feel. The next one, well, I'm going to click the undo button just to get so we can get some height back on. The next one, the normalize button. Now this is really hard for me to try and not just explain, but actually get my head around. I've played about with it to try and explain it to myself, and I can't. So what I'm going to say is, and this isn't strictly accurate, but you'll get the gist. It adds noise. It adds noise to the map, and depending on what number you have here, there will be more or less noise. And I'm looking at these peaks. Let's find, again, we need to find the height of one of these highest peaks. Go down to brush size of single. How high are we going here? 538. So if we were to set a value of higher than 538, let's say 700. 700, and we'll click normalize. We'll get more spikes out of this one. It will err towards the height of 700 and try and make things stretch towards there. This is how I'm trying to define it. So there we go. Everything spikes upwards. I'm going to click undo. But what if we wanted to go the other way? What if we wanted to smooth? If you went for a lower number, I'm imagining the lower numbers is basically a smoothing tool, a different way of smoothing. So this time we're going to err towards, say, 250. Click normalize, and it brings the entire thing down towards 250. So it's effectively a smoothing tool. It's a different way, and there's going to be somebody say, yeah, there is a big difference between these. I don't see it, but I'm not. Yeah, you could use this for either. Yeah, I think you get what I mean. Right, okay. The next one is a bit wacky. I don't understand really the use for this one. If you're looking to generate a random kind of map, then maybe this is the way to go. I'm going to leave these in place. I'm just going to turn the camera away from them for the moment. And it's the purlin. Purlin, I had to do a little bit of Googling on. It is a form of random generated texture. So things like the auto-generated planets in things like No Man's Sky, that kind of thing. Procedural generated is the word I'm looking for. Use different algorithms. Purlin is one of those type things. If we're set at 250. I've no idea exactly how this is going to look. I'm just going to click Purlin and see what happens. There we go. We have this texture going on here. All the way around the map, we have some sort of crazy, stupidly heighted texture. And the areas that we worked on earlier, you can see we still have all the texturing built into it. So I guess if we set the purlin to a lower number, maybe a 25, click purlin, and we've got this procedurally generated texture again, and we do have some texturing running in the middle of the map, including our plateaus as well. So it's something. I don't think it's anything that I personally would use, but you can play about with it. You might find a use for it yourself, which is great. I'll click undo, just get rid of that. It's giving me a headache. And then we have one more button, and this is the height 2, and this is I'm not going to demonstrate this one, but this will give you very similar to the maximum and the minimum at the same time. It will give you higher heights and it will give you lower depths. It's not a tool that I've had a lot of luck with in practice, which is why I'm not going to show you. No point me trying to show you something and I haven't been able to crack it myself. But if you can explain it into the comments yourself, then please do, and other people will benefit from that as well. So anyway, yeah, total terrain tools. It's a way of working with the totality of the terrain in one fell swoop. I'm going to come down and do some smoothing on here at the maximum. Again, 1024. I'm just going to keep smoothing it while I say thanks for watching, for commenting, for liking, and for subscribing. There'll be more coming from me very soon. Another tutorial next week, another one for those of you who are map makers and would like a little bit of help in uploading to the workshop. It's all about the upload, you know. That's it. I've been BonBonB. You've been very, very welcome. I'll be back very, very soon. Thanks for watching.